This is the second part of census and sample techniques. In the first part, you learned about unrestricted random sampling. Now, the focus is on restricted random sampling.
Hello everyone, welcome to our Eco Studies channel. I am Poonam Vora, your instructor from Egypt, bringing 28 years of dedicated CBSE teaching experience. We are introducing series for our subjects to give you an insight of our offered courses on our website that will help you prepare for CBSE and CUET examinations. But before we jump into the concepts, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so that you never miss out on any of my free valuable videos. And if you like the content, then don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share with your friends. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Now let's get started.
Continuing further, now coming to restricted random sampling. In this method, a random sample is selected under certain restrictions. So there can be four types of restricted random sampling. 1. Stratified random sampling. 2. Systematic random sampling. 3. Cluster random sampling. And 4. Multistage random sampling. Let us begin with stratified random sampling first. Under this sampling method, the universe or entire population is divided into several groups or strata, and then a certain number of items are taken from each group at random. For example, there are 100 students in class 12, out of which 60 students have taken maths and 40 have taken biology. So the students then gets divided into these two stratas comprising of 60 and 40 students. If a sample of 10 items needs to be selected, then one can have 6 students from one group who have opted for maths and 4 students from the other group who have opted for biology. And these students can be selected randomly. This kind of random sampling has certain merits. It is suitable where items in the universe have diverse characteristics, and since the universe is divided into strata and each stratum gets a representation in the sample, hence it is considered as more representative, and that is why it ensures accuracy as well as administrative convenience. But at the same time, since there are diverse characteristics of the population, it has a limited scope because one has to understand all the characteristics of the entire population. And then there may be biases involved, and obviously it will be more expensive if the stratified samples are distributed widely geographically. Under the systematic sampling, out of a complete list of available population, the sample is selected by taking every nth item from the list. For example, if there are 100 students and one requires a sample of 10 students, then every 10th student can be picked up as a sample. If the first selected roll number is 9th, then next would be 19th, after that it would be 29th, and then 39th, and so on, till 99th student. This method is considered to be very simple and convenient to use as compared to stratified sampling. So there is no possibility of personal bias here. It is less time consuming and provides satisfactory conclusions. But at the same time, there are demerits also. In this case, every item in the universe does not get equal chances of being selected, except the first item that is selected randomly. So it is considered to be unfair. Not only that, it is unsuitable if the size of universe is large. So it's difficult to prepare sampling frame. In the case of cluster sampling, the total population is divided into some recognizable subdivisions known as clusters. And then out of all the clusters, a given number of clusters are chosen at random, and all the items covered by the selected clusters are included in the sample. For example, in a survey of newspaper readers, the interviewers may be told to interview 100 people living in a particular city, out of which 20% should be the housewives, 50% should be the employees of a private organization, and 30% should be the students. So within the quotas, the interviewer has full freedom to select the people to be interviewed. This method is less expensive because the cost of sampling and work field is very low. It also provides reliable and dependable results. But at the same time, here also there is a possibility of personal prejudice at the time of selection of items. But if there is an error, it becomes very difficult to detect sampling error if the size of the universe is large. And then is multi-stage random sampling. This is an extension of the cluster sample which is carried out in multiple stages, say 2, 3 or 4 stages. Continuing with the same example, newspaper readers can be from a state or a particular district or a particular city or a particular colony. So sample is collected in different stages. Non-random sampling. It is one in which all the items of the universe do not have equal chances of being selected. The investigator selects samples based on his own judgment, based on quota provided, or his own convenience. So far as judgment sampling is concerned, the choice of sample items depends exclusively on the judgment of the investigator. Based on his own choice, he tries to select the best representative of the whole population. It is also called as deliberate or purposive sampling. For example, if a teacher has to select 4 students for inter-school debate, the teacher cannot use random sampling method. In this case, teacher will use his judgment to select those students who have the capability of debating. This method is useful when personal judgment of the investigator is important. It also helps in drawing a sample of small size and also helps in observing characteristics in details. But at the same time, since it is not based on probability, it does not guarantee accuracy. And the selection of the items may be affected by personal bias. So far as quota sampling is concerned, here the items of the population are divided into various groups. Then a quota is fixed for each group. However, within the given quota, the selection of sample units depends upon the personal judgment of the investigator. So this is also a type of judgment sampling. For example, in a survey of Airtel network users, the interviewers may be told to interview 100 people living in a certain locality. Out of those 100 people, 30% can be students, 40% can be businessmen, 30% can be housewives. Within these quotas, the interviewer is free to select the people to be interviewed. Now, this may provide satisfactory results only if quotas are allocated objectively, where each part of the population gets representation. But at the same time, this method is also subject to personal biases. It is useful only when the interviewers are properly trained. Under convenience sampling, while selecting the sample units, the investigator gives special attention to his own convenience. For example, to estimate the average weight of an Indian, if the investigator belongs to Delhi, he may take a convenience sample from Delhi only and estimate the average weight of an Indian. This method is also known as chunk method. It is useful only when the universe is not properly defined. And so it is very economical in terms of time, money, and effort. But at the same time, it may not truly represent the universe. So the results obtained are often less reliable. In order to make a sample, one must be aware of the principles of sampling. There are two most important principles on which the theory of sampling is based. The first one is law of statistical regularity, and the second one is the law of inertia of large numbers. According to the law of statistical regularity, if the random sample of adequate size is selected from a large population, then it tends to possess the same characteristics as those of population. According to the law of inertia of large numbers, the averages or the aggregates obtained from a large group are more stable than the aggregates or averages obtained from a small group. That is, larger the size of the sample, more accurate the results are likely to be. To learn more, visit our website and enroll in our courses to master economics and get a higher score in CBSE and CUET examination. With our current introductory offer, you can enroll in each of the courses for just Rs 999. So, seize the opportunity and join before the introductory offer expires. Like, share and subscribe to Eco Studies channel. Also, drop a comment. See you in the next session for another concept. Thank you.